Now we refer to this photo to draw this three-dimensional pigeon. Let's start from 0. First, we import this photo, then we use SPL spline curves to depict its outline, the upper edge and lower edge. For future reference, please like and follow where the curvature changes more. We have a little more control points and less control points in the reverse. Okay, press enter to end. The previous line is drawn. Let's continue to draw the next SPL line. In this way, we have drawn 2 contour lines. Let's turn it into 3 dimensions together, because currently we are in the world coordinate system. On the XY plane, which is on the ground, we use 3D rotate, press shift and right mouse button to adjust the viewing angle. 3D rotate, and we rotate it. And rotate around this axis. And rotate it 90 degrees. Now it stands up. Below, we can hide this image. Hide objects. Let's go back to the front view. We can directly click front to return to the front view. At this time, we can draw a circle below. See, I circle, draw a circle. It doesn't matter the size. You see it's drawn as a straight line. Why? Because it is drawn in the XY plane. So we see a circle. This is the right time. We hope that this circle is perpendicular to the plane where these 2 lines are. Then our direction is just right. Next, we use insert to point. This command to draw this circle to. On this line, there should be 2 positioning points on the circle target, then 2 positioning points to the new position. Look, the circle is perpendicular to this plane. At this position, we can draw a few more circles in the middle. And be roughly perpendicular to the path. Okay, press enter to end. We hope the tail to be spread out. That is, the width will be wider. Let's draw another ellipse. Ellipse X and N to define it. Let's draw another ellipse. Look, there is an ellipse. We continue to use the insert to point command. We select this ellipse and specify the 2 quadrants of the ellipse. Then on the target, at this position and this position, we reinsert this circle, delete it. What does it mean? We hope it is wider like this. In this way, our phoenix, the tail will have its special effect. The command we just used, insert to point, which is provided by Polyline plugin. If you don't have it installed, we need to use the basic commands of AutoCAD to operate. Let's use the basic commands to operate. How to draw this circle? You see, if we are on the front now, then X, then we are on the XY plane. This is the Y plane. Where is the Z plane at this time? We can't determine it. Suppose the Z plane is at this position. Snap. Look at the current situation. The XY plane is on the plane where these 2 lines are located. If we draw a circle at this time, and draw a circle here, the circle will still overlap with it. Now we need to rotate the coordinate system's axis. Rotate 90 degrees around the x-axis. The X command. And select X below, which means rotating around the x-axis a certain angle. Enter to default 90 degrees. Now we can see the XY plane has reached is perpendicular to the plane where these two spline curves are located. If we draw a circle again, look, this is a circle I drew casually. It is perpendicular to this plane, which is the same as our requirement. Okay, now we are drawing a circle with circle. And then use the 2-point method. This point and this point. In this way, we draw this circle. And the insert to point command is the same as the effect achieved by. It's just a little more troublesome. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Now we use loft to loft in a realistic way. Now we redo the loft. It doesn't completely follow the outer contour. Look, this outline is inaccurate. What should we do? We press enter, select guidance as the guide. Now it's accurate. We select this circle as the dividing point. Then we divide it into a certain number of parts. For example, we divide it into 12 parts. Or 18. Now we change the point style to a larger one. To clearly see, we can see the division points clearly. Now we extract the vertical line. Select this surface object. We capture this point precisely. Not the nearest point. We can turn it off. In this way, we draw a vertical line. Okay, let's continue to divide in another direction. Point divide. Select this contour line. Then select the two curves. For example, if we divide it into 36 parts, so there are 36 points. We can continue to extract vertical lines. Select this surface. We can select the direction, change the direction. You see, at this time, it will be perpendicular to the direction of the outline. When adding, we turn on the nearest point to facilitate capture. Okay, the grid line is generated. Next, we can turn off this outline. To hide it, hide object. Look, our grid will appear. Finally, we thicken the grid so that we can sweep one by one. For quickness, we can use curves to bar in Upolyline. Curves to bars. Select all the curves. Then we tell it's a circle. And the diameter is 0.01. This is done.